Control, do you copy?
I'm listening. Go on.
We ran into some unexpected trouble.
And? What will you do about it?
Louise is already en route to the church. I'm tracking him every step of the way.
Very well. Then I suggest you hurry.
Copy. Just need to confirm my route first. Heading out to get a visual of the area.
We've got some brand new gameplay footage of Resident Evil 4's DLC Separate Ways ahead of its launch next week, showing off new mechanics, new scenes, and old locations from a brand new perspective. RE fans are definitely going to want to see this, so stick around.
Understood.
It's kind of hard to believe that in 2005, and included in all subsequent releases of the full game, unlocked on the player's completion of Leon's main campaign. Separate Ways saw you control fan-favourite double agent Ada Wong, seeing firsthand how she orchestrated multiple key events in RE4's main game. She basically journeyed parallel to Leon, working behind the scenes to help him overcome obstacles and ensure he succeeded. For her own personal gain, of course.
Don't worry, Leon. First time's free.
It filled in gaps in the story from the original game, set up lots of new and intriguing questions, let us see key moments from a different perspective, and just generally let us bask in the absolute perfection that is Ada Wong. So what will the new Separate Ways offer? According to Edwin Edzo, promotion producer of Resident Evil 4 writing on the official PlayStation blog, Separate Ways tells the story of Ada Wong and her parallel journey through the events of Resident Evil 4, filling in unanswered questions from the main story. The full story will be revealed as you view both sides of events from both Ada and Leon's viewpoints. Looking at the brand new footage, Ada seems to play very similarly to Leon, with the new parry mechanic very much in action. R2 knife opportunities to silence downed enemies, and silent knife takedowns for unaware Ganados. The big difference for Ada, however, is that she comes equipped with a grappling gun. In addition to the variety of firearms from the original game and the knife parry that you're familiar with from Leon's campaign in RE4, writes Edzo on the blog, Ada will also wield a grappling gun. This can be used to get to various locations, as well as take down enemies from a distance and launch a ranged melee attack. This makes for a more exciting and fast-paced gameplay experience. Using the grappling gun to initiate a melee attack in particular looks like a lot of fun. And it's also worthwhile noting that it seems grappling to a distant location can be immediately followed up with a melee attack to nearby enemies upon landing, as you can see in this moment. The grappling gun adds some much needed spice to what would otherwise be a retread of familiar locations. It's really fun to see Ada zipping around Leon's old stomping grounds of the castle ramparts and the village outskirts, keeping distance from enemies by whizzing. Now Ada might help Leon out if it benefits her in the long run, but Ada is most definitely here on her own mission. As in the original Separate Ways, she's been employed by favourite RE bad guy Albert Wesker to retrieve something valuable and destroy anyone or anything that gets in her way. But also, just like the original game, Ada doesn't always play by Wesker's rules. There does seem to be a bit of a divergence from the story of the... Now, Ada must deal with an unknown threat that is devouring her from within, an accomplice with a dark past and ulterior motives, and a chance reunion with the man she least expected, Leon S. Kennedy, further confirming her infection. We'll be interested to see how that changes up some of the events to come. Other new additions include requests like the ones seen in the main campaign of the remake. Ada too can destroy blue medallions for rewards. The gameplay section that perhaps had us most excited for the DLC featured Ada facing off against El Gigante, swinging from rooftop to rooftop to keep out of harm's way, before using the grappling gun to tumble through the air pretty much like Spider-Man, slashing and swinging around to get the parasite on its back. If all of the boss fights in the DLC are like this, I mean, sign us up right now. So what else do we want to see from this Separate Ways reimagining? Well, a nice long runtime for one. Given how generous the RE4 remake was, how it really took its time to set the scene and give us all of those fan favourite moments and more, we're hoping its DLC will follow suit. Especially when it means spending some more time with some iconic characters in this stunning setting. Ada will most certainly be having to babysit Lewis to some extent, and we're really looking forward to seeing a bit more interaction between those two characters. Getting a little bit more Wesker screen time will be very interesting too. He featured more in the remake, so it's possible we're gearing up to seeing him in an even bigger role in the DLC. Could either Lewis or Wesker possibly be featured in a playable role? I mean, that would certainly be unexpected. Wesker as a playable character becomes a slightly more viable feat separately. Ada and Wesker's appearance in the Mercenaries mode is a free update. In Mercenaries, if you aren't familiar, players fight waves of enemies in an attempt to defeat as many as they can in 2 minutes. You get additional time added for kills and for collecting bonus orbs, with the objective of achieving the highest score. It's worth a little look for a free update, and at the very least for checking out Ada and Wesker's new appearance in the main game, such as the U3 boss fight. Maybe there will even be room for another Mendez fight as well. What the RE remake titles have been really successful at thus far is taking key moments, story beats that fans really think they know and can anticipate, and turning expectations on their heads while always preserving the original spirit. So not changing the story for no good reason, but changing it just enough that fans can still be surprised, yet the overall tone is perfectly preserved. It's a really difficult thing to do, but one that Capcom now has a great track record for. What will Ada's infection now mean for the overall story? We saw in the gameplay footage provided to us that it looks like the second Verdugo is on Ada's trail, so there will almost certainly be some sort of showdown there. Will she use her infected status to gain the trust of some individuals, maybe even Big Cheese Mendez, to infiltrate Illuminados ranks from the inside? Will we see another Krauser showdown? If this DLC is just 4 hours of the bitch in the red dress zipping her way around the key locations from RE4 and high-kicking everyone in the teeth, I'll honestly be happy. But if it actually manages to do something new and interesting with the original story as well as that, we could be onto something very good indeed. Add some fun and flirty interactions with Ada and Leon along the way, some genuine scares and spooky horror moments too, and this could be pretty great. Obviously, there are some things that narratively Separate Ways simply has to do in order to line up with the events of the main game, but there are some big gaps there that can be filled creatively. Hopefully, Capcom will take the opportunity to do just that. Until then, I will be grappling with my deep love of Ada Wong and hoping we get as much time with her as humanly possible. So what do you think? How is Separate Ways shaping up in your opinion, and what do you hope it does differently to the original? Which boss fights do you hope Ada takes on, and how do you think her infection is going to change things? Let us know in the comments, and keep an eye on the channel for more RE4 remake content when it launches later in the week.